Uh, so our next speaker is Gena, and Gena, you're just going to have to stand back there for a little bit because I'm going to talk about you for a while. So Gena has been a speaker on our stage before, and oh wait, I'm sorry, I forgot. She actually was one of the people who wrote me a haiku, but she indicated on there that I couldn't share it on stage. It was for my entertainment, and so I intentionally didn't write it down so that I wouldn't share it with you guys. But it was political, which allows me to offer this to you. If, in fact, you are a Warren supporter and a woman married to a man who is a Bernie supporter, that's really all I'm going to say about it, because I hate talking about politics. But wow, we are in a tough spot right now. Yep, good times. So that was that. She indicated that if she was ever to have a band, she would name her band, it would be a punk band. She would name it the Evil Vaginas. And it would just be a bunch of women rage screaming, which I am all in for. We will have a sign-up sheet at the stage after tonight's show. She also indicated that her weirdest nickname was Oz, and she said she wanted it to be a nickname, but the only people that it really stuck with were old white man lobbyists in D.C., and I would like to break that for her. So if we could all just start chanting Oz, 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 Oz. Come out, Gena!
That's how she introduced me? Really? God. All right. So for a lot of people, when they think about labor and delivery, they think of something that looks like this. And for a lot of people, especially who have given birth, they're like, yeah, that's pretty accurate. But for a lot of other people, it's like this fever dream where there's a bunch of fuzzy figures around you, and at the end, you wake up with a new baby. And both of these birthing experiences are incredibly valid, but we usually only see the one on screen that is the pretty actresses making funny faces. And hey, there's a lot of tropes that aren't necessarily harmful. Like, you know how in movies, every time someone goes to give birth, there's invariably some side character who goes, "Boil water, get some towels." Why? Like, midwives know the reason. It's usually to get the husband out of the room, but the rest of us, we don't ask these questions because culturally, we just accept this idea that women are really mysterious and women's bodies are just really complicated and difficult to figure out. And we just kind of accept this, and our culture and our media actually reinforces this idea with a lot of the images that we see. So for women's healthcare advocates who are actually trying to push forward progressive policy, we not only have to fight the powers that be, but we have to fight misconceptions. My friend Mel is going to tell us a little bit later about the idea that anytime a character in a movie seeks an abortion, apparently all she's looking for is a clean knife. There should be no knives, all right? No knives. Clean or dirty, no knives. That's not a thing. So for women's healthcare advocates, we have to go up against the idea that movies like Juno tell us that abortion clinics are dirty and scary and hostile, and that there's really only one protester outside and they want to talk to you. That is not the case. This is actually what women who are seeking services have to go through. And it's usually older women who have already had a couple of kids that are seeking these services, not a 17-year-old white cheerleader, all right? And so we actually have to fight these misconceptions before we're actually even able to talk about progressive policy. And I gotta tell you, when it comes to labor and delivery, there are some really bad tropes out there. Hollywood both seems to believe that labor is really easy and it's also this impossible thing. Mamma Mia too, I gotta tell you, lots of ABBA songs, Cher shows up at the end, it's super fun. But their main character in this movie, she literally, you have to assume, has been pregnant for 9 months, and her entire birthing plan is to go into a barn in the middle of a rainstorm and give birth like a horse. Because apparently that's just a thing women do. She didn't think in the 9 months maybe a birthing plan might be important. Thankfully, the old woman who runs the bar in town, she is now an older woman. She has some gray hairs. She's not allowed to be a leading lady anymore. But congratulations, elder actresses of Hollywood. You're honorary midwives now. You just know how to help women give birth somehow. It's nonsense. And so we have these ideas that labor's super easy, but it's also really mysterious, and women can just die, and we don't really know why. they just die, all right? Listen, y'all, I facepalmed about as hard as Natalie Portman must have when she read the script that she's like, are you honestly telling me my character's gonna give birth to twins that the psychic space wizards didn't know were coming, but I'm gonna give birth to twins, name them, and just miraculously die out of nowhere. I'm pretty sure she was confused by this because I'm sorry, this universe has perfected hyperspeed, but no one's created a freaking ultrasound machine, apparently. I'm sorry, does the Star Wars universe know that women's legs have to be open to give birth? What is this metal skirt thing? I'm sorry, what is even going on? Listen, y'all, Padme Amidala did not die from a broken heart. She died from lack of access to a quality OBGYN, all right? I'm sorry, but who programmed these medbots, okay? Were they just like only able to handle 2 life forms at a time? And they were like, sorry, Senator, but these 2 are fresher, so we can't really help you anymore. And the thing is that we kind of chuckle about that, but actual policy is actually written that way, where it is more likely that we prioritize the pregnancy or the fetus over the woman herself. And our government and those who seek to limit women's reproductive health care services know this, and they will push forward things that are confusing and things because we simply accept them, because our media and our culture has told us to accept them. They will push forward on these things because we don't know any better. And so what I ask for you tonight is to not only have fun with your movies and ask some questions, but also, please, dear God, when it comes to voting on women's healthcare policy, follow the experts. We know what we're talking about. Have a good night.
If I ever get into a fight in an alley, I'm going to have Gena with me. Like, I'm going to be behind her being the one going, yeah, what? Yeah, the whole time.